Hi, I'm Susan, and today I'm going to make Danish pastry bars. The first thing that we do is we have flour. I'm going to put some salt in here. We need to stir this up. You sort of use a figure eight. So next thing that we're going to do is cut in the shortening. Plunk this in here. Now, there's a couple of ways of cutting. You can use 2 knives and just start cutting in. Keep moving them around. This does take a while, so you have to be patient. But the truth is, I really like to use this. It's a pastry blender. Works the same way, works much faster. You can even see that there's some little small pea-type shapes that are starting to form. It's not there yet. You have to just be patient here with this piece of the recipe. And the next step is I separated 1 egg, just took the yolk, save the white because you're going to need that later. The yolk goes in a little cup here, and we stir up the yolk just a little bit. And we're going to add some milk to make it 2/3. I have to make sure that I get to the 2/3 mark on my cup. There we go. Stir this up a little. Now, the way I do this is actually kind of like apple pie. I don't put the whole thing in at one time. Go maybe 1/3. Thirds are always sort of good to do. And start bringing the dough in to wetting it. You can see that that part of it is getting wet. You bring some of the dry dough over. Okay, now I'm going to put in another 1/3. Keep going. Here's the last little bit. That's the dry part. And see if we can get the whole thing. Should really pretty quickly start all getting wet. All right. Now, I'm going to use my fingers. There we go. It's starting to feel just right now. You just want to get all the stuff on the bottom of the bowl too, so that it'll stick together. It's kind of like a really soft dough at this point. Time to roll out the dough. So you're going to divide it in half. You can kind of take it like this and really just smush it in the middle. Boop, you get half. Now, the thing is, you have to have some flour on the surface. Not a ton of flour, but you really need flour because this dough is not super sticky, but it will stick a little bit. And also on the rolling pin, I always go around the rolling pin. Don't overdo this, but you can see that it's coated a little bit. Alrighty. I press this down just a little bit. I'm going to make a rectangle. And this is going to be the bottom rectangle. It may sound wacky, but if you use the ruler, it's going to be 17 by 12. Instead of just eyeballing it, if you use the ruler, you just sort of get it more consistent. It just works out better. So, start rolling, and this is gently rolling. You don't want to really push down hard. This really does take a few minutes to do, but it's really easy to do. All right, let's do a little check here and see where we're at. Okay, let's put a teeny bit more flour on here, just really a little bit. Don't overdo this. Here we go. You're going to put the rolling pin there. You gently roll this up on the pan. Don't press down hard because you really want it to be able to come off. And if the stuff breaks, it doesn't matter. You can just tap it right back together. So you can see you do need flour on here because a little bit of it's sticking. Alrighty, because here comes the pan. Take it from the side. You just roll it down. So let's tuck this in. I might have to move that over a little bit. It's cool. Boop, we did it. All right. It doesn't matter if it doesn't look perfect. That's the best part of this recipe. And so some of this stuck, I'm just smushing it down. This part is going up too high, so you can rip this off, a little bit of this off, and tack it on to wherever you think you need it. I think I need it a little bit over here. Press it down, gently press it down. Come on over here because this corner needs a little bit more. Okay, now, the next thing that we do, this is the bottom. So, cornflakes. I don't know, they work. They help to get the liquid absorbed a little bit, and don't mush them up too much. Just do a gentle little mush. Spread them out. Just a slight crinkle. I do use all of them though. It's really kind of fun to do that. Okay, you got the bottom done. So the next step is we're going to put the apples in here. You don't really need to layer these out. I like to do it. I just like to do it. I think it makes it ultimately look more pretty. And I cut them. I really try to be consistent when I cut them because they cook more evenly that way. So I don't know. You can see maybe a little bit over 1/4 of an inch, sort of. You can use any kind of tart apple. So I'm going to start layering. You honestly don't have to do it so concisely. I like to do it this way. It looks like a ton of apples, but when you're cooking, it really is like making an apple pie. When you cook it, if you don't have enough apples, it really gets too flat. So don't be afraid to put in a lot of apples. All right, now I have a cinnamon and sugar. I'm just going to mix this up really quickly. Okay, so I kind of do this in thirds also so that it's evenly spread out. I don't put it all on top after I've got all the apples. So you can see there isn't any rhyme or reason. You just sort of like you're covering the apples so that you can see that pretty much all of them are covered with this mixture. Okay, that's pretty good. So now we're going to keep layering. So this we're going to do a little bit smaller, 15.5 by 10.5. Plunk it down. I love when it does this. All right. Now, we made the bottom a little bit bigger, so we're going to try to pinch the ends in from the bottom. It doesn't look pretty, it really doesn't matter. So you're trying to get it, you're attempting to get it covered up, trying to pinch the bottom one over the top one. We have to make some cuts on the top of this so that you let the steam out. Just a couple. Okay. Then this is like, it's an egg wash, only we're only using the white of the egg. You foam it up, you just use a fork, you really have to beat it though. Okay, that's pretty good. Now, if you had a fancy pastry brush, you could use it. But here's what I'm going to do. Dump it on, spread it out. This is what gives it a beautiful golden color. So you try to get it all covered. Now it's ready to be baked. You put it into a 375 oven, 50 minutes to an hour. It'll be ready. So we just took this out of the oven, and I started to drizzle the confectioner's sugar, 1 cup of confectionery sugar, and 3 to 4 teaspoons of milk. It's that soupy consistency. We're going to drizzle it on here a little bit more. This is the piece that just adds a really neat look on the end, and it'll firm up and really make it look cool. This is Danish apple pastry.